Good evening. Today I will share with you some of my most intricate views about simple things as nations, as technology, as life in general. If we talk about limitations, qualities, and disadvantages, talking about all of them, I will present you only my points of view and nothing of what I will show you will be under my copyrights, so I've got no copyrights for this material. Here are a lot of content from different people and channels, but the links, the sources, and their copyrights are all there. You can find them. Maybe we can say that I actually promote their content, for educational purposes, let's say, not for views, because the views can be redirected by only typing the source I present you. So if you want to learn more or listen more from these channels, I'm glad that you are interested, and hopefully we will manage uh, to create a good discussion, and for those who want just some spicy subject and quick ideas and fast dopamine into their receptors, I think this is the perfect moment for you to leave, because I will talk slow, I will present you a lot of content, and who's not interested can leave. This video, let's say, is made actually for no purpose other than expressing, and if I express in this way for only one viewer, which by the way can be actually me, so I can only make this video for me as a archive or a history mind check for the future. That's also good. If there is interested another one guy or two guys, I made a great job. So let's talk about now about starting with nations. In the everyday life, if we talk about people, products, technologies, and whatever in whatever sense, even if I'm Romanian, if I could have a Japanese smartphone, Japanese telephone, Japanese headphones, Japanese laptop, Japanese clothes, Japanese bike, Japanese car, Japanese motorcycle, whatever, to be Japanese. Japanese farts, not Japanese. I don't need that. I don't like that. I like only mine. But in rest, almost everything Japanese is on my beloved preferings list. So starting from this, if I'm just talking to someone which has, for example, an opinion about German cars or I don't know, Czech cars or American cars, like for example a Corvette, or Italian cars, for example a Ferrari, or I didn't talk with someone who owns a Ferrari, and more so to debate, but you got the idea. So in any context, I'm with the Japanese, avoiding Americans, Chinese, Russians. As I mentioned here, Russians have the same car for a lot of years, looking exactly the same for all these years. Lada car, you know, this is maybe a 2025 model, so it's basically unchanged. Lada Niva SUV. So yeah, no Russian, no Chinese, no American, no Ford, no Chevy, no Dodge, no Italian, Ducati, no Ferrari, no Lamborghini, no Fiat, no Alfa Romeo, even though 159, the front and the back, you know, in my honest opinion, look incredible, incredible. Even after 20 years, I think, after the release, I love that car. But in any other product, no Italians. One mention as a non-Shimano product, talking about brakes, bicycle brakes. What's not Shimano and is in my collection and I like and I use, and is the only set, only model of brakes functioning with DOT 5.1, 4.1, doesn't matter. So no mineral fluid, which is no Shimano. The only one is Formula R1, which are Italians. No other brake product which is not Shimano. No French, Citroën, no Michelin, no Renault. Let's say Dacia because it's somehow Romanian and is actually cheapest, and you can throw away trash, bash, and don't expect much from it for what you pay. Peugeot, Citroën, anyways. No English, no Jaguar, no Land Rover, no Rolls Royce, no Bentley, no McLaren, Lotus, close, but no Lotus. And what we've got, what is there on this planet. Africa, no. India, I don't know. There's nothing here I can use. So mainly nothing but only Japanese, in my view. And with this discussion, of course, because everyone is looking for money, and money can come from your group. And if you, for example, like BMWs, accept to work on a Mercedes, but you hate Audis and you don't accept Audis in your shop. The other guy who loves the Audi work very happily on Audi, but he doesn't like BMWs, and in this way each one has his own interests and a place on this earth based on his group of interests. My group of interests is only about Japanese. And observing this, let's say, characteristic, even though I consider it a strong point, let's say it's just a neutral thing, I asked myself a few days ago, before I opened these all dots here, which has a lot of minutes, and I thought about these things. If me personally would have to choose between anything on this industry nation wise products, but the one and only condition will be no Japanese, I found myself in deep problem, because I didn't even thought about a solution in this case. What I will do, I don't know. I'm in deep trouble. No Japanese. So, thinking back into my history, of course, I don't need to argue about American stuff, even though they usually do the first step in any technology. Likewise in bombers, which I think the first stealth plane was theirs, B-52, I think. Not B-52. B-52 is an old one. B-2. B-2 bomber. Of course, a great plane with an obvious advantage, which is the stealth technology. Compared to the rest of the nations and the technologies each one owned, and the financial capabilities, of course, this is an enormous advantage. You can't fight against something like this if you don't own the same technology. So this is about Americans. They usually do a step in technology, but in the quality of any technology they lack a lot. So of course they put a big turbo on any engine and hold tight, God bless. But in terms to refine, to make that stone, that raw stone into a diamond, I think the Japanese are the best. The best actually are the Germans, which, as all of us know, they obtain the best results in almost anything. Better than Japanese, even though I said Japanese are the best. But the Germans try to obtain too much on too much fields, too much technologies, and they manage to do that, but the big but is when something fails, we let this aside. The next but, big but, if the operator doesn't know exactly what he's doing and what the environments and the requirements are in only one specific moment, that thing can just go very wrong. And another thing into German thing, I will tell you when we will talk about Porsches cars. Only as a spoiler, this thing is maybe, so not a but, it can be only a maybe. They design their products that much more complicated in that much more areas strategically, because if the other nation doesn't know to operate that thing, they have an advantage. If that thing breaks often, they have the advantage. So it's a um, strategic thing to create an object. The Japanese, I said, they are the best because they take the necessary technology and they refine it until no more problem. Just you can focus on the duty, which is somehow at the middle between Americans, even though they don't implement first or being in top 3, let's say, countries implementing different technologies. Usually the best in tech area are the richest. They are very rich. They could be more rich, but as a Rolls-Royce, let's say in cars, or the Americans, which I mentioned, the Germans, or more into the present, the Chinese, which implement anything, good or bad, they implement and they sell. I don't think are Japanese. As I said with the Germans, I don't actually think that the Japanese can sell you a flawed product, a compromise, which is obviously a compromise, just to, let's say, make some money, get some unfair advantage on you, but they actually work their backs and with honor, they fight fairly. In Europeans' ways to talk about in the same way about their technology, of course, we are in general hand in hand with the big imperial power. So, of course, French, Italians, Germans have access to the rules, to the technology. The technology, they make the rules, they implement the norms, and usually we are called the civilized world. Unknowingly and unfairly underrating the Byzantine highest development period. They were actually very civilized, and the so-called today civilized world is nothing but a copy about from that era and place, the today's Istanbul. Europeans, Russians, yeah. So the Japanese, I think, are uh, at the middle of Americans, Europeans, Russian, Chinese. They create a product which, let's say, is not as complicated as a Russian piece of junk, is let's say almost as complicated as a German car, but not being that complex and that on paper that good. They are, let's say, as reliable as the new technology, old technology in the American tech. So they are not top notch, but the old technology, which became reliable even for Americans, they score another point there. And after all, which, which one is their own trademark, I think, is putting a big effort for each tiny little system in the general ensemble of multiple systems to be a high quality, a modern, let's say, product. And they also make a very intense effort on training people. So for example, if you imagine the American jet fighter to be somehow, the average pilot racer can be 45, 50 years old, 200 kilos heavy, bankrupt, and still being a race car pilot in a American V8 with 1,000 horsepower. And yeah, you can say, yeah, incredible result from this one, but the majority of the thing is made only by the car, and the pilot itself is dragging the object. But the Japanese people, being actually shorter, slimmer, and living longer and being in a good shape, you put them, let's say, in the same car, and without any training, is actually much faster. If you also train the Japanese to understand that he's in disadvantage with his object, but he has to somehow find some resources, some strong point, so he can balance the enemy. He will do that by the pilot, not by the object. And now I will present you what I think is actually unfair, or is actually impressive. We Romanians know that our country uh, always was very rich in Europe. We are the longest history uh, certified, I don't know how it's that called, civilization in Europe, so not on the planet, because of course we know Babylonians and whatever in Africa or in China, but in Europe, Thracians, Macedonians, which are also Thracians, are the oldest Romanians, as we should call us Romania. Being that rich, of course, is also a God-given thing, but is also made through sacrifice. And exactly as I said about the Japanese view of the things, even though you don't possess whatever object, whatever technology which bring you an advantage by just working your back off, you can rebalance the situation. If you don't have this capacity, then we talk about sacrifices. So of course Romania, not being able to balance the things, usually in history we gave a lot of sacrifices, human sacrifices. We don't talk about sacrificing a tire, doing a burnout. No. The same as I described this thing about sacrifice, about work ethic, about many qualities required from a respectable nation. The Japanese people, equally with, let's say, very long civilization China, they have their place. And actually they almost took the number one. I say almost, even though they did. There's a debate if Germany actually won both worlds, and some say they won, the most say they lost. For the Japanese, the debate is they actually became the world number one economic power. Some say no. me and other say yes. So I'm presenting you that the debate is about Plaza Accord, which in 1985 this allied France, American, and UK members, of course, with the allied invaded and conquered by Germany, which here I think they have a place for their very hard uh, and let's say good quality industrial products for the period after the war, which brought them here. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on this list, I think. The France, of course, they, as an old empire, were with the rules, with the new um, rules. They made rules on this planet. You know, their with their intellect, let's say, with their knowledge, but with hard effort, more or less. So these guys, um, seeing that Japanese people are actually climbing and climbing economically, of course, they took measures so that USA is the number one, and of course today there's a big problem because the same thing will happen to China. Here is the Plaza Accord. After this accord, you can see that Japan only crumbled and never regained that edge in terms of economical power. So I give the respect to Japanese. They maintained the same quality after that agreement. Till today, the Japanese products are the standard, I think, in any area. Of course, if you want something lighter, you can find. If you want something more powerful, you can find. If you want something more beautiful, you can find. But they are the standard. If you only want standard, buy Japanese. You can find below standard Chinese, American, but the actual standard is Japanese. So the Japanese maintained the quality, but the Germans, as we all knew, and from the born you have to live with this statement, the German quality. Yeah, the German steel, it is the best steel. I think that's overstated now, and we'll talk about this in more detail, and we will make some assumptions, my assumptions and also my opinion about these facts supported by this assumption. But even without this assumption, my opinion about the Germans is unchanged. But at the Japanese, I don't even talk. Their quality is the best. I said that we talk about nations, war, world wars, technology, and we will also talk about games, computer games, and noticeable information which arrived at me like a rumor or a heard. Did you heard about that thing? Is that in Romania, in the capital Bucharest, at the biggest university in our country, there are discussions about creating a new section, including or gravitating around the gaming as a whole. I don't know about gaming that much. I played a lot, but not that much, and not that many games or that complex, requiring a lot of resources. So the latest game, the most complex, the best graphic game and such things, but I know few things. I didn't created games, I didn't tested games, because of course we know that this is an industry, but only few things. In a future episode of the same topic, I tell right now, with opinions, with this discussion, I will present you also a game which I played. It's about Guns the Duel 1. There is a second version which people who played 1 and loved 1 are fully against. I'm in that category. This game is called Guns the Duel, but actually what's important at it is that it could be the best game ever. But about this topic, as I said, in a future episode. But I played that's important. So, with games. On my Instagram, I posted some photos in my history. This is a different game which I will not debate, but I only showed you this thing. This is one game or one topic, because I played World of Tanks and in this game you had nations. At that time you had English, American. Later they introduced the Japanese. You had Russians, French, and Nazi, German. This is a French tank, is a tier 10, which is the maximum level 10. You had level 1, 2, 3, you bought a better and a better tank, you gain experience with it, and after a lot of matches you had to change it, to upgrade and then to change. This is the maximum. In the first game I won this, the first game. This is the screenshot. Let's say what's important is this number here. It is 34467. I don't know why yeah, I think this is the, you can see better now. This thing, if we type on Google WN8 World of Tanks, what? You can find the meaning of that value, and as you can see here, if you play bad, 300, 600, you have a low score. Let's say if you had almost 3000, you are really good. Of course, this as an average, but the average of course is made by each individual game with average and so on. So, taking into consideration that for my first game with the French Bachathlon, which was a great tank, I really loved it. You will see some 2017, as you can see. You will see that I think with this tank I had more than 1000 games. I love that. So yeah, in the first game, 34,000. For sure, of course you can talk about luck. You can talk about luck again and again luck. But at the end of the day, of course, even though my general, let's say, on the account average statistics are average, from time to time with inspiration moments, with better adrenaline and desire to score and not die and whoop your back. Of course, you can't score 34,000 with a paper tank, no armor, just by luck. So of course I'm talking about now that I actually liked, but in terms of experience, I had no experience with that tank. It was the first battle, and of course for 34,000, I think 6 or 7k damage were dealt in that game. Sadly, I don't have any other replays or screenshots, but for 35, almost 1000, it was a great game. Of course, I put the same photo on my Facebook as another photo here. This is my first day in my last clan. In the first day, because here are days, in PH Bro, Phalanx Brotherhood, as you can observe, I had the function of recruitment officer. Where are the players? The player number 92 players. The maximum were at 99, I think. So about this clan, is not was not, because it doesn't exist, and somehow I've got some connection to it. I wouldn't like to say that me personally contributed to it, but the the general situation, I think, wouldn't be good in the next future, and things like that would be unavoidable. So me joining against the not against for one of my best friends in that clan, and a great player, which by the commander was excluded from the team, and he was accused of some things, and the executive officer, but the actual owner of the clan, even though the owner was the it's complicated. uh, we stand up for our man, and the clan broke. After that, I stopped in 2016. No, no, I still played. 17. Yeah. Anyways, I don't remember what clan I joined after that clan. Maybe I didn't join any clan. But what's important is that this clan was actually a good clan. As you saw, 92 players, so almost full clan. And as a performance point of view, because I will talk about another clan, another player, some history, we were not even close to the best clan. We're not even close to the top 10 clans in Romania. Maybe we were 11 or 10, but not 5, not 8. And the precious history, which I'm really in how I can say that, in a intricate connection with a natural connection. I really vibed with idea, let's say like this. I really vibe with the idea not to jump from this clan to another clan to another clan to another clan to another clan, to be in a constant rush to play better, to get more money, because this game was on digital money and on, how we say, premium real money invested into this. But I actually uh, played in lower uh, quality uh, performance wise clans, into medium clans, into Serbian clans, knowing only pitch cum mater, and in rest just playing. And I also played in something almost premium, let's say, a better, let's say, clan. But coming back to my personal vibe, I vibed more with the idea of, and not the idea, the experience, because we experience this a lot, with the experience of beating better clans. And then we don't talk about now about Romanian clans, we talk about European clans. The best clan at that time was Fame. We never ever managed to beat that clan in any shape or form, in any kind of battle. But number 3, number 4, number 5, at least once we clean. So that's a big feeling, which for me, of course, now telling you this, was better than to be in that clan. And of course, those guys had a hierarchy, an inner hierarchy. So for you to be in that clan, you had to play every day few hours. You had to bring for the clan a lot of resources. You had to play every time with someone, a platoon, so 3 players in random battles. You had to play 10 versus 10 each day to bring for the clan something. In those 10 versus 10 or 15, the best guys played only with the best guys in the platoons of 3, or in 10 versus 10 or 15 versus 15. The fights for the gold, for the premium incredible currency, so for the premium money, of course, were firstly for the best guys. You as a lower player in that clan, let's say you would participate in those fights only if the best guys weren't around. But of course, as a requirement, the each of those members should be in, almost as in a job, in that clan. So of course, in the important fights, you would not have your place. As a contrast between this higher quality and performance clans, the lower clans, of course, you didn't have players. Sometimes if you have players and you need to defend your stronghold, your quarters, let's say, because there were also clan wars and different fights between clans. You didn't had at 3 in the morning, at night 2 in the morning, you didn't had players, because they played as a relaxing. They were older, not all kids which only knew to shoot. So in this way, you either didn't had people to fight, either you had mixed people in the good uh, starting point you had all the resources to go for a fight, but of course these fights were also a success, also fail. So with all the resources you also could lose. So for me the best time was of course winning against good clans into the Romanian area or European area. Um, and more than this, if from a perspective of our clan was possible to remember precisely, it was even more juicy for me to win this fight against a good clan, but not with our best players, but with medium players. And even if we have, for example, one or two impatient guys like me, let's say, but let's not give names. Um, that was even more satisfying to connect with the guys, to communicate effectively, to shoot with care, to cover each other's back and front, and to destroy all those good players. Here is some of my history I uploaded on my channel, which is as you can see 8 years old. At this point I started to upload on YouTube different matches from that period, of course, because with each update and new version the older replays were gone, so you couldn't upload from 1 year ago, let's say. And I did this, of course, starting from my position as a recruitment officer. The battle commander, Adrian, is in my town. I think I still have his number, but I didn't talk with him. With Soso Pembe I saw, and I don't know who was in that night in the old center. But anyways, he came from the sea, from Constanța, and we drink some beer. Oh yeah, so me as a recruitment, I started to make some, let's say, marketing or some, not even that, because now it's not marketing, it's history for our clan. And from me or from other players in clan, I posted some good fights when we managed to defeat big enemies. One of them, which I said earlier that was in target of our commander, excluded from the team, was Lemnaru from Galați. Incredible player, incredibly aggressive and efficient as a in a position for attack. He dodged like a like Mike Tyson the shoots and he hit back better than Mike Tyson. So he was very, very, very efficient when you need it the most in the middle of the battle. So yeah, he didn't stay in the back and only shoot. I'm trying to... oh, this is him. Let's see some few moves and his name, of course. As you can see, and I said before, just before the video, in our clan you played in platoons for fun. If you were a sociable player, but of course if you had two other guys with you each and every battle, of course your stats will improve. And in those better clans, of course, this was a big requirement. After that, of course, you were put to test. Few battles you were introduced and studied by the managers and the other executives, and if you were good, of course you were accepted in the clan, and from that position further you had to maintain and even improve your stats. So it's not like you enter there and you play alone and you drag below the entire clan statistic. You will understand more in what's coming. No copyrights for audio, sorry. I don't want any reports. This is my video about bikes playing some tanks. But it's not me, it's my friend Lemnaru. And if you want to see this video, of course you can check it, or other movies. Those clans I presented you on my channel, of course with many others we managed to beat. Of course, as I said, that one of my preferences was to stay a bit in the back with any statistics and try hard attitude, but of course I enjoyed very, very, very much to collapse giants. In the same discussion, if you paid attention, I said that our battle commander, our commander in the battle was Adrian. So I never tried to make a step into the battle, but also me and guys like Lemnaru, which were in the first 10, 20, 30 players, we needed a point on the map. You go there and do the job. If the battle commander decided you to come back and to go further or to push or to something, of course he could touch a button and speak with us, and we will make that. But the idea is we naturally, let's say, didn't loved the idea to stay with our eyes on the map for the entire team, to study whatever. We like the battle, we like to shoot, to dodge, to fight, and more so the very experienced combat commander we had, Adrian, did a much better job than us. And of course, when we lose some games, uh, we had fun talking about different things. But in the videos, uh, let me show you, because some some of one of them is actually really nice. I didn't thought starting this video to talk that much, but I don't want to miss things, and if the memory of my phone allows, I will present all all or enough to make you bored. Omni, I think this was the second or third clan. They were very good, very good, and as you see here, just by me presenting you, this was a light tank, so a lot of speed, zero armor. This is my team. You can see here Lemnaru with a tank destroyer, so he has the job to stay in the back and shoot. The IS 3 and 5 Russian heavies for the battle, another Ru 251, and another light one. This one here is artillery, so he shoot with an arch. Each team had an artillery. Theirs is the second one, but as you can observe, as I can tell you, the other one, the rest of the team is only light tanks. As you can see, the map has here a port, let's say, a village, few houses here, and the rest is empty. So my question to you, if you don't know the game, or if anyone doesn't know the game, you can ask yourself, on a city battle, only city battle, because there are city maps, you need a light tank which can run fast and has zero armor, or you need a heavy tank which can fight based on the armor and on a lot of HP, let's say life of the tank. Or you need an artillery which shoot with an arch. You can't shoot with that because the enemy tank hides in the back of the buildings and you can't shoot them. So in this fight, of course, we are in disadvantage because this is the third European clan, and they have all light tanks, and we have heavy tanks. So more than this, we have heavy tanks that can't shoot so precisely. They deal a lot of damage if they connect, but in terms of aiming and connecting the bullet, that's very hard. For me, it was impossible to play those Russian tanks. It was incredible painful. Each and every game for me was a disaster to play with that tank. German line was incredible, even though on the armor was a lot less effective. The gun, which for me was the whole point of this game, you have to shoot, you have to see. The German have better optics, and of course, if you can dodge the bullets, you're fine. Like in the box, I think the trainer of Mike Tyson said the it's called Cus D'Amato said that the whole point of boxing, which you can see very well into Mayweather's style, which is even better than Mike Tyson, into not receiving shots and shot back. This is the art of boxing. This is the art of tanks. This is the art of, even more than this is the art of urban cycling, which I made. So you can't shoot no one, you can't touch no one, because the equilibrium is lost and you fall. So the only thing which I could manage, practice, and implement and do was to defend. So the only area of mastery remained to avoid. As you can see here and on the map, this is me, which George Estea, by the way, George is my brother. He made the account. I was introduced into this game by him, which started the German heavy tanks line with the famous Tiger, and we both played on the same account. As you can see, I'm doing the strategy, blocking the map, even though you can read the instructions. Only for the replay, me thinking that this is the best way to do this, not knowing that after that many years 200 people saw this video. So as any secret, you have to protect it. In commands, of course, but also if we scroll down more, we can see their guys, our guys, but only if they're seen. After a while they disappear, as you can see, and you can't see them no more. Our guys in the same way. That's why I made the map invisible. Our guys there, the enemies here. Let me just play with audio, because no copyrights for the algorithm to don't ban this. So yeah, here are we defending. That's the thing I thought about in this situation. If we tried to push, to advance, to go in the city, of course they came here at this flag and capture in 1 minute 30 seconds, something like this, the game. If we tried to fight, of course they can spread on all the map very fast, shoot faster than us, they can camouflage better with light tanks, and their artillery, of course, us being slower, would be so joyfully shooting us. In this situation, even though their artillery shoot us, the only viable uh, solution to this really bad problem, bad game, bad situation, we had to stay at the snipe, to stay to shoot, and those who were light, so as you can see, no more lights in our team, dead. I'm the only light which can spot, which can see them. As you can see now, they're unseen. You don't have any target for a moment, but we will spot them and shoot. So yeah, a very tough fight, and this was actually commanded by me against a very good clan, European clan, and in disadvantages, in obvious disadvantage about each team setup, with heavies against light tanks. I don't know if to continue it or to talk about, but I'd like to talk about. This is me. That's why you don't see the name, because I was filming in the replay with the drone. At that time, 8 years ago, I think no one in Romania or on YouTube actually gave a hoot about drones, but now in Ukraine they are used in battlefield. As you can see, they trying to capture our base, and we reset, as their strategy almost gave a successful result. We pushed Nictation, which was an old but a nice guy, to sacrifice, to restart and kill that enemy in the base. So as you can see, he managed to do that, and we remained in the battle. This was a tactical battle, and yet a visceral battle. I won't praise that much my credentials, because I also was a let's say visceral battle, not battle warrior, not that strategic, but with mistakes and impatience, and also in different times with a lot of patience, I brought home different results, good and bad, extremely good, extremely bad. But the idea is I don't hide that I was not that consistent, which different players were, and is actually a big quality to be counted in the team as a consistent fighter. This was a shot from artillery. As you can saw, he missed this guy. He almost lost, I don't know, either full HP, 800. No, he has 1000, 1200, 800. So the artillery could easily kill this 600 and something guy. back to the debate and discussions. I only showed you that my view, which gave me the chills, was to beat good clans with an underrated, clearly disadvantaged um, resources, and it was awesome. The team, our team, which played, the other guys listening to us or who saw the replay few days after release, we were, very happy. We were connected and bond and eager to beat them or other guys again. So our moral was very, very strong in those moments. Moving forward, this is something I will present you after a break for toilet. I am back, and with joy I will present you something which I don't know how I could miss this game. Of course, or those moments were nice, surprising, but were a lot of fun and also frustration involved, and I will present you some of their frustration and some of our joy to swear and to take their moms at the dance and them to take ours. It was incredible, and more than the well-known Polish debate that in World of Tanks, in League of Legends and in other games, the Polish guys were subhumans, let's say like this, and each nation each nation was cursed to play with them in their team. In the same way, the sentence, the word cheater uh, was the salt and pepper of any important game. So let's go back to the comments, and let's enjoy what the guys have had to say. Of course, I didn't say that much. Mădițu, good job, cheaters. I was with the command, LOL, cheaters. So when these guys, oh, you can see the teams. So when these guys call you cheaters at the beginning of the battle, when they lost one guy and we lost two guys, of course light tanks, these cheaters, oh my god, it was really painful and not that funny, but your mother, but in the end it paid off. You can't imagine if you didn't live in any game this kind of I don't know, conflicts in chat. Of course, if you ask why I didn't comment it that much, I explained you earlier, but even at this or our level, let's say, but into this guy's level, you can't even imagine what pressure was in each game. Of course, the guys were more knowingly in the map. They knew better what to do, but a bad tactic if you impose and you want it to be respected and applied, um, you deal with a lot of pressure, and the consequences are not that pleasant, let's say. And I'd better do my job and from time to time to take the command and play when Adrian was not around, and bring to our guys some respect in the field and some honor between us, and some as I said, some strengthening of our moral. Let's check for messages. I want messages. Ne regrupăm și mergem să dăm jos artii. We regroup and go to kill the arty. I don't know, their arty just killed one of our guys. Oh no, it's not arty, it's a bulldog. Anyways, arty just shot to one of those. Me with the replay, I can't see around that corner because I'm the other side of the map looking for artillery. That's the artillery, which these two guys managed to connect safely, and now I'm seeing that Nictation, the funny guy, incredible no ego, let's say, player, even though not that skilled, incredible member of our clan, and this is another reason why playing with the less qualified dudes is an advantage, in my opinion, because of course if you are the worst player in the best clan, is in your favor, they do the heavy job. But as a human, if you understand the lower player and give him patience, and if you don't accuse him, even though don't succeed that often as a human, giving a chance to a less uh, performant character um, is actually fair and nice for the humanity between us, which in the good clans of course can be missed, as in any corporation setting a rule which is not that flexible, of course. um, you can lose the human sense, the human beautifulness, even though you're not that good. And of course, if this light tank, if this light tank wouldn't exit that house, even though he's very camouflaged, let's say, even though no bushes like this around the corner, as you can see, with two guys in the base, how fast he can be put in the situation to do something without any other way to win this match. So yeah, us against Omni on an open field map, us with heavies, them with lights, and we managed to win with 3 guys alive and the base almost almost conquered. Enough with YouTube history with tanks on my channel. If you want to see other tanks, other chats, funny chats with different Europeans, you can see them there. Back to the next image I will present you in my history. This is World of Tanks Cup 1-on-1 Gold Cup. I don't think you can see the... oh, incredible. So that's the reason why I never was able to see a clear picture on Facebook, because it is unclear from the zoom. Interesting. So yeah, ESL gaming. ESL is the platform which allowed us to compete. Europe 1-on-1 Cup Romania. This is the game for third place between me and this guy Killsteel. We will talk about him further, but as you can see here, his progress: first game no enemy, and this is because from 213 players only 141 actually fought. So yeah, the battle for third place. Before this game with him, I played with Tankistul Florin, which I'm 99% he won this tournament. This game I lost was based on a defeat, which I actually can't say nothing about. I can't say I was that close. I can't say nothing. It was T-32 against T-32. T-32 is an American tank, tier 8, level 8, which was the competitor of Russian IS-3 and Nazi Tiger 2. For example, here I opened, and we'll check again later, something about T-32. People on Reddit are saying that's a beast. What do you say? Anyways, I looked on T-32 in the present moment and I didn't saw it. So maybe it was changed for another tank, or I don't know. I didn't enter the world of tanks for some years on my laptop, and 1 year or something, 2 years on the body. A high school colleague of mine, I said you that my brother introduced me into the game, but actually first one who said me something about playing and inviting me and asking me to play was Dekar, a really good player, which I will say you more in the future topic. So, Tanchisto Florin played really well. He was a perfect player of T-32. For me, this 32 was actually a backup tank, because we usually played a city map, Himmelsdorf. It's called Himmelsdorf, and on that map everyone played T-32, so it was impossible to play anything because you raised above a hill and you needed gun depression so you can shoot looking down. You needed a strong turret, which it had, and anyways, it was a good tank, but not the perfect tank. Everyone, I mean everyone, played IS-3. Tanchistu Florin played T-32, I think, as a main tank, so he didn't play the IS-3, I think. Or if he played IS-3 as a backup tank, the T-32, he was incredible. You couldn't beat that guy on T-32. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, me with T-32, I approached the situation as in the previous games. What you see here is not a battle, so 6 wins is not 6 wins with 6 battles. There were actually, I think, 3 or 4 battles for only 1 win in my case. And the maps were different, and for the situation where I needed the T-32, I used it with the smaller gun, so lower impact on the enemy in terms of damage, but that gun reloaded faster, a bit faster, and for me it was good enough to go in the semi-finals. But again, to beat Tanchistu Florin with T-32 with the big gun, no way. It was impossible for me. So I can't say, even in a joke manner, that I could enter the finals, not even close, no. But I will tell that about about third place. I could uh, have won a place on the podium, but I didn't deserve it. I couldn't make that step. It was always one step ahead of me. I couldn't have effectively managed to take the lead and win. But more after we enter the next thing about what we talking about only. Oh, sorry. What we talking about kill steal, because he, I think, at that time was in ODV. ODV was a top Romanian clan. I don't say it was best or third or second, but anyways, it was in top 5 for sure, top 3 maybe, ODV. And or if not ODV, I don't know what clan, but he was a very good player in a very good clan with a very good tactic, with a lot of experience. And I actually tried these days, few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, when I started to think about these things and to actually have patience to make this video now. I had some work to do 2 days ago and 3 days ago. Now I'm free, but I thought about these things the last days. I think I will let kill steal rest for a moment, and let's begin with the topic of what we started. Nations, different products. So here we have the Russian power, as I said about Tanchistu Florin, which was an ace with T32. Of course, we could see and check each other's statistics. Tanchistu Florin with T32 had a lot of battles. This guy with IS3 had a lot of battles. Of course, as you saw in the previous video, talking about mothers was not a rare thing, but in terms of different jokes or common jokes, one of each other's, of course, when they saw me with a lower statistic, they actually joked about that thing. And when they saw that I actually joined with Tiger 2, so the German tank, they laughed even harder. Going back to the Tiger 2 discussion, my idea came from this video. So actually I'm presenting you this video in which I see myself into this battle, Tiger against Mother Russia. Of course, with the bikes I was also, let's say, underrated. but understanding your weakness, you can have also a good shot with your own strong point, because of course maybe you don't own that much strong points, but something you have to have. It's impossible to have nothing, or even if you don't have, at least try, at least give a shot, give your best. It's not a discussion about games, about nation. It's a discussion about life in general. That's why I actually talk that much, because maybe for me or for those few watching this now or in the future, they will try to do whatever is in their proximity with whatever they have, to just put on the best show possible in their area, in their I don't know.
Today you're about to hear the short but turbulent operational history of the Tiger II tank. We've got some fascinating stories and examples
So as you can
to give you
see,
a real picture of this 70-ton.
I got no copyrights. You can visit Unbelievable True Story, The Horrors of Tiger II Crew, which is the channel I will present you today in this moment.
Beast and the men who fought in it. So, let's begin.
I fought in it.
The Tiger II, also called the King Tiger by the Allies, was another attempt by the German military to create a single weapon that could dominate the battlefield. The idea was for it to be heavily protected with enormous firepower, and it certainly had both. However, most of these advantages couldn't be used effectively in the later stage of the war when the tide turned against Germany, and you will see why. Let's first cover the advantages of this tank, and then explain why, although it might sound like the best tank of the war, these qualities didn't stop it from being decimated.
If it sounds exactly like if you say a Porsche, because I said about Porsche, or a BMW, or something which now it can sound the best. Oh, that German car is the best, because on the paper it is the best. Even though the Japan, I say, is the best. Oh no, the German is the best. Dude, that's an extreme to consider that thing to be the best. Of course, you can say the Russian is the best, but you also can say, or me, which played with Tiger II, which had a lot of fundamental flaws, disadvantages, you can say it is worse. But if you understand, if you practice, and if you give a shot, if you put everything you have with that best worst tank, you can be at least on your position in the semi-finals, not on the podium, but you know, fourth place in Romania at that time.
By 1943, it was clear that the Tiger I was no longer untouchable, and German engineers were already trying to create a better version with improved protection and an enhanced, already famous 88mm gun. However, it was far from an easy task, as thick armor resulted in a vehicle weighing around 70 tons, but powered by the same type of engine used in much lighter tanks like the Panther and Tiger I. They were all powered by variations of the same V12 engine, producing around 700 horsepower. However, the Tiger I was 13 tons lighter, and the Panther even 25 tons lighter than the Tiger II. So, the Tiger II was clearly underpowered. Still, with sloped armor up to 180mm thick in the front, it had serious protection. Its heavy armor gave it an enormous advantage against any tank daring to attack it head-on. Virtually no Allied tank of the war could penetrate its frontal slope. Of all recorded destroyed Tiger IIs by tanks or anti-tank guns, all were knocked out by side or rear shots. The turret was a problem, as its sides and rear were less armoured, and ammunition stored there posed a significant danger of exploding if hit. So later, German tankers didn't store ammo in the turret, reducing capacity from 86 to 68 rounds but improving safety. The US and British did not deploy heavy tanks.
So again, the word important, compromise. You make a balance between being too extreme in one way and also to be satisfying in another way.
Beside a few Pershings, jumbo Shermans, and late Churchill models. So on the Western Front, in tank-on-tank combat, the Tiger II was an unmatched heavyweight. It was also estimated that the frontal armour was impervious to the Soviet 122mm gun, one of the largest tank guns of the war.
122 versus 88.
Soviet tests showed it needed 3 to 4 shots from 500 meters at the front slope so the weld joints would break, as they were of lower quality than those on the Tiger I and Panther. So, for the Allies, the only solution to knock it out with tanks was to outflank it. But the improved 88 on the Tiger II could destroy almost any Allied tank of the time at ranges over 2,500 meters. So good luck.
I wanted to say something about this
at the front slope, so the weld joints would
these weld joints which would break. There's a discussion about the German steel quality in the last period of war, which was less quality, and of course you could penetrate it even easier. And again, in theory, when we talk about that was good, that was bad, of course you can say on paper statistically it was awesome, it was the best. But if you can't produce to the best quality those weapons, of course the weapons are weaker. So again, that Russian whatever junk initially is just trash, then it become a little bit better only by you decreasing the quality, the complexity of your system. And this don't apply only into the quality of structure, but also operationally, the engine, transmission, suspension, turret, ammo, whatever, the entire system. If it loses some points, of course it will become weaker and weaker. And the reality is not on paper and statistics. But about that more in the further content.
So good luck outmaneuvering it. However, the thick armour and long gun worked against the Tiger II in urban combat, where it got stuck in narrow city streets, couldn't rotate its gun effectively, and was easily outflanked by Allied tanks or infantry with anti-tank weapons. The 88mm Park 43 L71 gun, mounted on both the Tiger II and the Jagdpanther, was a significant improvement over the already famous 88 used in the Tiger I.
Why?
Although the same caliber, this new gun had an extremely high muzzle velocity of 3,400 feet per second, thanks to its longer barrel and larger cartridge with more propellant. While it fired the same projectiles, armor penetration was drastically increased. Here is a brief comparison to help you understand. The Tiger I's 88 could penetrate 120 millimeters of armor, sloped at 60 degrees at 100 meters, enough to make it feared by all Allied tank crews throughout the war. Under the same conditions, the 88 in the Tiger II could penetrate 202 millimeters of armor, but the major difference shows at long range. At 2,000 meters, the Tiger I's penetration dropped to 84, while the Tiger II punched through 132 millimeters. Simply put, the 88 in the Tiger II could penetrate more armor at 2,000 meters than the older 88 could at just...
This is the reality also in the World of Tanks game, but not between the Tiger and Tiger II, between the awesome gun of Tiger II and the piece of trash, of junk, of crap, of Russian whatever they loved, because it had a little bit more armor and a few kilometers per hour top speed more.
Just 100 meters. So, their guns could destroy any Allied tank at ranges where they effectively couldn't do anything. Also, the Germans had much better optics than the Allies, adding to their deadly
so you can see
reputation at
better.
long distances. With that being said, this is definitely the best tank of the time that helped Germany win the war. Well, no. Although it had all these capabilities, it suffered tremendously from a combination of technical, logistical, and strategic factors. We already mentioned they were too heavy, even by today's standards, let alone in World War II. The engine was extremely underpowered for such weight, and the transmission and steering were not made to withstand it. Each bridge crossing was a gamble, and bridge reinforcement units had to travel with them.
Oh, so you mean that in reality, of course, a good tank can be a bad tank, of course, because the bridge cannot support it. We talk about reality now, not about World of Tanks, my game. As I said, we talk about technology, nations, war, reality, life lessons about I'm good, you bad, I'm good, and I'm bad, you good, and things like this.
It wasn't rare to see a Tiger II destroy the bridge and fall into the river. Another issue was that the availability rate was around 40%. This means after transport and preparation for action, out of 10 tanks, only 4 would be operational. The suspension system, although giving it a smoother ride and stability to fire on the move, was a complete nightmare for maintenance. Mud and debris got jammed between overlapping wheels, and in winter it would freeze and completely disable the tank. They broke down quite often in normal conditions, let alone in combat. Now, when you combine that with poor logistics, a lack of spare parts and shortages of fuel and ammunition, you get that more Tiger IIs were destroyed by their own crews than by the enemy. They would either break down, run out of fuel or ammunition, and if the crew couldn't put it back into action, they had to blow it up or burn the tank so it wouldn't fall into enemy hands and be used against them. They were costly to produce and essentially handmade and individually fitted. That created...
As each modern German whatever plane, tank, car, motorcycle, whatever you can say it's the best, they can say it's the worst. I can say German thing is, I don't even include that on my list. I want Japanese, but I played with German. I loved German. I chose German, of course. Being that bad, so it's not good. Being that bad, me as an operator, I had to adapt and to develop with my brain schemes of being effective, and of course not only in terms of strategy, but also physically I had to move faster, to be even more concentrated on my shots, and of course to risk in the all my tournament. It was just there. I couldn't avoid the risk, and I also had not in the semi-final, but what led to the semi-final, those battles, I think two players were actually even more challenging that kill steal, which was a perfect IS-3 player, which I couldn't catch. Let's say I couldn't catch, like a fish with a fisherman, which Shimano and every other equipment, which feels the fish biting and getting nervous and doing whatever he could, but in the end it happens, so you can't catch that fish. even with the best technique, best equipment, and best position and best whatever. It happens. But I embraced the process of, or the privilege, if you consider the German thing being the best of the best ever and forever. I had the privilege to play with the best of the best of the best, but with the disadvantages, I had to actually work on myself and find different ways to match the power, the raw power of my enemy, which came like a thunderstorm with that IS-3, boom, 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 few times, and everywhere he shoot with that premium ammunition, because in the tournament all players, except the maybe few 1 or 2 games, which maybe, let's say, some players don't use premium ammunition. Everyone doesn't involve risking to miss a shot, and they use the best just to win. So yeah, I overcome a lot of risk in the previous games. I'm talking about the semi-final, before the semi-final, and for the risks in the semi-final, which was flat, a very challenging flat, exactly like the Germans fought with the Russians at Stalingrad. Both of them were actually very good. The Germans risked, and they managed to give a good fight with no equipment for winter, getting supplies from the Berlin to Stalingrad, which is thousands of kilometers long. So all these risks you have to take in the consideration, to get inside you, to move you, to power you, and if that's the case, to play with the best equipment in the worst ever scenario and situation. It's on your shoulders to outmatch the competitor.
A nightmare for mass production and even more trouble for mechanics in the field. Due to its
Mechanics.
weight, wider tracks had to be used.
By the way, with the bicycles, of course, I'm a rider, a collector, a mechanic, and all these things, when you go out, yesterday actually, a Romanian won the Dakar Rally with his motorcycle. Power. And of course, that dude is not just a rider. He's not only an athlete. He has to be a mechanic. He has to know what his system works in those environments, and to repair it, let's say, fast, to don't remain in the desert. And another things that all in a complete race, let's say, in a challenging situation, matters a lot, each one by itself. It's a very, very important piece which can destroy the entire system just like that, fast.
Making it hard to transport by train, which was the main transport method at the time.
Another
For this
thing.
reason, narrow transport tracks were mounted to load and unload tanks from trains, then had to be replaced with wider field tracks by their crews. All these things made it very difficult just to put them into combat on the front, where they were now encountering much stronger Allied forces on all fronts. In addition to that, the Allied bombing campaign severely disrupted factories and fuel production. In the fall of 1944, one of the major tank factories was almost completely destroyed by a bombing raid, halting the production of around 600 Tiger IIs. Also,
Sheesh.
manganese was in short supply, and all
This is what I was talking about in this video, of course, and in another video. So you have the supply with manganese, or with, as we in the bike and not only call it, CR line MO, chrome molybdenum. So that chrome percentage in the steel make it tougher, but even a slight change of the concentration can ruin the entire system. So if you can't create this best tank at the best spec on the chart, on the paper, in the best conditions and the best engineering, only engineering, not in the real world. Um, Standard quality in the real world, you have big problems. Big
war,
problems.
German tanks suffered from lower quality armor, more prone to cracking and splintering, sometimes with entire armor plates collapsing after being hit. Because of this, only about 500 Tiger IIs were ever built, meaning they were almost always outnumbered 10 to 1. And when the Allies gained air superiority, they were easy targets for fighter bombers armed with rockets like the Thunderbolt or Hawker Typhoon. But here is the thing. Despite all these problems, the highly experienced, battle-hardened crews who had mostly transferred from earlier tanks and now received these new machines would achieve a terrifying kill-to-loss ratio. The 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion, during its 166 days of operation in the Hungarian theatre, destroyed 121 Soviet tanks, 244 anti-tank guns, 5 aircraft, and a train. On the other hand, they lost 25 Tiger IIs, 13 of which were destroyed by their own crews to prevent.
Alright, so about crews, about me, you, and whoever, let's say, have the German best, highest quality technology, or a lower one, based on your experience and on your capabilities, you can lose 25 tanks, by which 13 you destroyed. Oh, I destroyed the best tank of the entire history. Dude, sometimes you have to destroy your masterpiece. In another video, I destroyed my system of riding bicycles. That was incredible, perfect, satisfying, and good. But I actually ask myself if I'm actually that good, or if someone want to enter and achieve this level, because I was already day by day there. I ask myself, where am I? Where am I? Because you lose the grip of reality. You, with comparing to others, you don't know where you are, how high you are sometimes. And after I destroyed the system and restarting from the beginning, from the ground zero, I wasn't able to actually complete one lap of the lake. I realized the immense pressure and how high I actually was. I can't say now, oh, what good I am. I'm good. I was. Right? Back to the tiger.
And capture. So, when properly supported and used, they were killing machines for enemy armor.
Only
The opposite example is the
Only
Battle
when?
of the Bulge, where around 150 Tiger IIs were deployed, and almost all were lost in the offensive, mostly due to fuel and ammunition shortages. Kurt Knispel is an example of how effective the Tiger II could be in the right hands. Throughout his career as a gunner and then commander, from Panzer IV, then Tiger I, and later Tiger II, he accumulated 168 confirmed armored vehicle kills, though it's believed the real number is higher. He was killed in action in 1945 in his Tiger II, attempting to halt the Soviet advance. Another interesting example is when a Tiger II during the Ardennes offensive was ambushed by a small M8 Greyhound light armored car. Concealed beside the road, the M8 saw the Tiger rolling by. Taking advantage of the opportunity, the M8, armed with just a 37mm gun that couldn't penetrate the Tiger II's heavy armor from the front or sides, aimed for its rear. They let the Tiger pass and then sprinted towards the road to close the distance.
again, if we don't talk about Tiger, if we talk about these dudes, they made an incredible job. Exactly like, for example, me or for you who listen, which apparently you have no chance, nothing, but with this crappy, I don't know, vehicle.
Penetrate the Tiger II's heavy armor from the front or sides, aimed for its rear.
Can
They
you
let
imagine?
the Tiger pass and then sprinted towards the road to close the distance and ambush it. They were spotted, and the big 88 started traversing towards them. Before the turret could rotate and put the M8 in its sights, the armored car was already directly behind it at just 25 yards and immediately opened fire from its cannon. It put 3 rounds in rapid succession into the rear of the Tiger II, and finally the engine burst into flames, soon followed by the turret as well. Here you see that there are no rules, and an armored car with absolutely no chance on paper managed to destroy a superior Tiger II.
That's the word I initially didn't saw with that much clear perception on paper. So this is very important. On paper. Oh, German is on paper awesome. Americans with their top-notch technology on paper are the best, and everything on paper. The life is not on paper. This is not on paper. You had the paper with you, but with the paper you had to do best thing you could do, and maybe even more than that.
On the other hand, despite being completely
To do the impossible, let's say, to do the impossible, not what was possible.
Outnumbered, and running out of fuel and ammo, the last operational Tiger IIs made a horrific last stand in Berlin. They positioned themselves in strategic choke points and caused tremendous damage to Soviet armor trying to break into the city, easily destroying even heavy IS-2 tanks. So, as you see, it's often not the tank itself, but everything else around it that matters.
Everything else around. Not the crew, not the map, everything else.
The Soviets and the US used their much less protected and armed T-34s and Shermans, but with good logistics support and in great supply. 500 Tiger IIs, poorly equipped and supported, although with an estimated 3 Allied tanks destroyed per knocked-out Tiger, couldn't make a dent in the Allied offensive, let alone stop it and turn the tide of the war.
Alright. Oh. This is about this video.
O insulă care trecea de la China la Rusia.
Next video, not this. That one, this one. I try to keep an organized thought process, so we have a nice discussion.
Seen as the less effective or less successful Tiger. There was the Tiger 1 and the Tiger 2, but generally the Tiger 1 is seen as the one that was effective and successful on the battlefield, whereas the Königstiger is basically seen as the late war defensive Tiger with its heavy armor.
Again, no copyrights, no copyrights. The channel is military history visualized. King Tiger over or underrated.
Big gun, and it's kind of portrayed as a rolling bunker. The issue is this narrative does not add up at all, because if we look at May 1941, so before Operation Barbarossa, so before the Germans encountered the T-34 and the KV-1 and KV-2, this tank is basically called up in the requirements. And it's clear and obvious that at this point the war of movement, the Bewegungskrieg, although commonly referred to by peasants as Blitzkrieg, is still the modus operandi for the Wehrmacht. So let's look at what was written in May 1941. As evidenced from extracts of notes of a meeting held on 26 May 1941. In the near term, for the main part we can still employ panzers with a 5 cm tank gun with success. But we must immediately procure a Spitze core, or better a wedge or a spearhead, of about 20 heavy panzers for each Panzerdivision. This amounts to procuring panzers that have increased ability to penetrate enemy tanks, possess heavier armor than has been previously achieved, and attain a maximum speed of at least 40 km per hour. The effectiveness of the existing 8.8 cm tank gun and its armor-piercing round were to be increased so that 100 mm thick armor plate could still be penetrated at a range of about 1,500 meters. The 88 had originally been developed strictly for anti-aircraft purposes. Further development of this weapon as a tank gun appeared possible and has to be requested. The 8.8 cm gun was still to be mounted in the Porsche Panzer, but the effectiveness of the gun was to be increased to meet the above specification. Mounting the 8.8 cm gun in the Henschel Panzer will be investigated. So at this point already, so before Operation Barbarossa, before the Germans knew of the T-34, before they know about the KV tanks, Hitler called for a long-barreled 88mm gun, because the 88mm gun they mention is the one with the 56 caliber length, which was put into the Henschel Tiger and the first Tiger, and this one with 71 caliber length, which is about 1.3 meters longer than that in the regular Tiger, was already requested in May 1941. So in a way, this vehicle fits actually the tank that Hitler wants. Later on there are some changes in the specifications, and also the armor is not really specified. Now when it comes to the top speed, the Tiger 1 and Tiger 2 ironically are rather similar in top speed. They both don't reach 40 kilometers per hour, but with about 35 kilometers per hour they are rather close to it. Let's talk about firepower. This is an 88mm gun with a length of 71 times the caliber, so L71. It's a KWK, Kampfwagenkanone, basically a tank gun, and it has 6.2 meters in length, which is about 1.3 meters longer than that of the Tiger 1, which had a length of 56 calibers. This is basically the same gun you have in the Ferdinand tank destroyer and also in the Jagdpanther. Now the features of this gun is we have one huge shell that includes the propellant and the projectile. So this is different, for instance, to the IS-2 or so to the Jagdtiger, where you have basically a two-piece ammunition. Now this ammo from this gun is not compatible with the Tiger 1, it's compatible to the PaK-43 dome. Basically the shell is considerably longer and also a bit thicker. There's one famous picture where Hitler is shown basically both both the ammunition for the Tiger 1 and the Tiger 2. Now the muzzle velocity, there's quite a difference. For the Tiger 1 it was about 770 millimeter per second, and for this one it was 1000. So a significant increase, which also you see the difference in the penetration values. At 100 meters, Tiger 1 could penetrate about 120 millimeter, whereas this one could penetrate about 202 millimeters. At 2000 meter range, Tiger 1 dropped down to 84 millimeters, and this one still could penetrate 132 millimeter.
And note that velocity is very important when you talk about energy, because energy is a result of velocity squared. So if you had 25% more speed with the Tiger 2 gun compared to the Tiger 1, in terms of energy is not 25%, is more.
So this gun has a long range, it has a high velocity, and as such also a low trajectory during firing. So in overall, a very effective and deadly gun. Now let us look at the armor next. So here we have 100 millimeter at a 50-degree angle. Here we have 150 millimeter at a 50-degree angle. The front of the turret is 180 or 185 millimeter, depending on the sources, with 10 degree. And the side of the turret and the side of the hull and the rear are all 80 millimeters in various degrees. The bottom is at the beginning 40 millimeters, then later on it's only 25 millimeters, and the top is also 40 to 44 millimeter. So a very strong armor. Now the thickness of the armor is only one thing. Another major issue is the armor quality, and particularly at this stage of the war there was some serious problems with the German industry that decreased the armor quality and as such made the armor of the King Tiger less effective. We need to look at three processes here. First is the hardening of the steel, then the tempering of the steel, and finally the welding. So hardening the steel, particularly for such heavy plates like the 180 millimeter or the 150 millimeter, is a delicate process, and at this point the amount of qualified personnel was decreasing all the time. The next aspect is tempering. Now in tempering it also comes to make the armor more tough, so that basically you can have a very hard armor but it might shatter under hit. So you could say it's like a bit like glass. Glass is very hard, but it can if it shatters completely. Whereas ideally with steel you have a bit more elasticity and toughness overall, that you can take a hit, the shot bounces off, and there are no immediate cracks or other problems happening. Now for tempering, ideally you would add some alloys that increase the toughness, or use them that is there. Molybdenum was one that was used also by the German industry. The issue is around 44, the imports from various regions dry up, and the amount of molybdenum sinks from 0.55% to 0.25%, which decreases the quality of the armor. And finally, there is the welding. Again, here's molybdenum is important, because the welds are generally weak spots and they also can crack similar to armor. And with all these aspects, this happens that, for instance, the King Tiger took a hit, it survived the hit, but a welding or some part of the armor got cracks. And the British did an analysis on German steel at various points, and they basically noted at one point that the quality is all over the place basically, and that even for one tank itself, the armor quality at different points, the quality of the steel was different. And this was a major issue, especially for these vehicles, because you have all the thick armor, but if you then have large cracks after one hit or another, it's simply not fulfilling its function anymore. Well, I guess we need to talk about turrets, don't we? So what we here see is what is often commonly referred to the Henschel turret. And then there's also the other turret which is a bit rounded in the front, which is generally called the Porsche turret. These names are misleading, problematic, not really that fitting. Why? So both turrets were produced by Krupp, not by Henschel, not by Porsche. Now, what is commonly referred to as the Porsche turret was turrets that were ordered by Porsche from Krupp to be put in case Porsche should win the contract. Now, if you know about the Tiger 1, you might recollect that Porsche also pre-ordered, before they got the contract, chassis for the Tiger, which was then not accepted, and then, since they were already built, were basically transferred or converted into the Ferdinand tank destroyer. And we have a similar issue here, but in this case it was the turrets. So the turrets were already similar in design. There was one major difference. The turret for Henschel would be turned by hydraulics, whereas the one from Porsche should be turned with electricity. And the Germans issued special manuals for both turrets, basically. They specifically note the first 50 King Tigers got the so-called Porsche turret. Basically, it's better to call it the